In this video, I wanted to discuss RFK Jr., his fitness routine, and then I also wanted to touch on men's fitness in general and the opponents and haters of physical culture. Now, RFK Jr. is a candidate in the 2024 presidential race. He's running as a Democrat, but RFK Jr. is more of an old school liberal, a classic liberal, as opposed to one of these modern day insane wokesters. Now, to tell you more about him, he's also an environmental lawyer. He has a strong passion for having a clean environment, keeping it free of, these dangerous chemicals in our, food and water supply. He's an outdoorsman. He's a falconer. He's a whitewater kayaker. Some of his big issues, as I said, he is a environmentalist. He wants us to have clean air, clean drinking water, which I'm definitely on board with. Especially as men that are, fitness minded. We're health conscious. We want water without chemicals in it. Especially estrogenic chemicals that lower testosterone levels and can cause health issues, could lead to cancers. We don't want a food supply heavy on chemicals like glyphosate. And that's where I wish we had more of a European style food market, where, certain chemicals are banned. That can eventually lead to cancer. We don't want that stuff in our food supply. So he's big on exposing that stuff. He's a big opponent of medical tyranny, big pharma tyranny that we now have in this country, pushing these unsafe, untested protocols on people, especially children. That's causing all these issues that we didn't have decades ago, that now, we see them all over the place. He exposes that stuff. He's also big on not having a big military presence overseas, which I agree with. He's very good on foreign policy. We shouldn't be sending all this money to Ukraine. We shouldn't be having involvement in foreign wars. So I'm on board with all that stuff. Where I would differ from him is he's more into the global warming, climate change stuff, whereas I see that as exaggerated, and it's a way to, it's basically a form of tyranny to bring Western nations under control. And it's actually India and China that are the biggest polluters of the air and water as far as a global scale goes. I would also disagree with him on cultural issues. He's definitely more liberal on social and cultural issues than I would like him to be. But other than that, I really like a lot of his positions. I like that he's an outsider, and that he's really exposing the deep state and a lot of this corruption that we have in this country. Now, let's talk about his fitness a little bit. He released a video of him working out outdoors. He was doing incline bench, I believe, and then also doing push-ups. And, he displayed his physique. He was working out without a shirt on. And the reason I think he did this was to contrast his fitness level with Joe Biden, who is really on his last legs. You can tell he has dementia. He's falling down all the time. So I think RFK Jr., without coming out and saying it, he let actions speak louder than words. So he displayed his level of fitness compared to Joe Biden. And I'll get to kind of the fallout and the reaction to that video a little bit later. But let me talk a little bit about RFK Jr.'s fitness routine and his diet. Now, RFK says he implements intermittent fasting, which is just another way of saying that he keeps his caloric intake in check. So he does intermittent fasting. He also says that he hikes every day uphill. So he's getting some cardio work in. And then he says that he goes to the gym 4 days a week for weight training. And his workouts typically last around 35 minutes. They're short, intense, low rest breaks. And he does a back day, a chest day, a legs day, and then the fourth day is miscellaneous, where he hits all the other body parts that he didn't hit, which I assume would be arms, shoulders, abs. He says he does take vitamins and supplements. He says a lot of vitamins and supplements. And he is on an anti-aging protocol, which means he does take TRT. So let me talk about the fallout of this video, because it was kind of disappointing from both liberal and conservative commentators, which you had the normie cons, whether it be Clay and Buck on the radio or, some of the Fox News people. They would comment on his fitness almost like it was a joke, and then say things like, oh yeah, he's definitely on something. And then the same way from the liberal commentators, the establishment liberals that hate RFK Jr., making fun of him working out and stuff. And this kind of just shows the level of stupidity among these opponents of physical culture. RFK Jr. is 69 years old, almost 70. He's in phenomenal shape. And all they can talk about is, oh, he must be on something. Well, yeah, he's 70 years old, but he's on a TRT protocol. That is just one part of the equation. They don't talk about how hard it is to maintain a physique like that in old age. TRT just brings your testosterone levels up to a healthy level. He's not running a full-on steroid cycle. And even if he was, you can't just inject testosterone and expect to get a physique like that. He's still, watching his calories. He's doing intermittent fasting. He's probably got a very good diet. I'm sure he probably eats organic food. He's getting his protein in. He's also working out. He's going on his hikes, and he's going to the gym 4 days a week, and then taking a lot of vitamins and other supplements. So no one wants to give him credit for, the work he's putting in to develop that physique. And this is what people do who know nothing about fitness. They know nothing about the process. They aren't there themselves. So to make themselves feel better about their shitty condition, their poor physique, to justify their bad habits, they like to say everyone who is in great shape must be on steroids. And going back to what I said, even if you're talking about a professional bodybuilder who's definitely would be running a lot more gear than RFK Jr., it still takes a lot of work, a lot of discipline, attention to diet, and also there is a genetic factor in play. Not everybody can be a Mr. Olympia. Not everybody can be a championship bodybuilder. So you have all these other factors that these haters just want to ignore. So as far as RFK Jr. goes, I agree with him on a lot of his positions, and I definitely applaud him for his condition at 69 years old. I hope to be in that great of shape at 69. And I'm really happy that he is a proponent of physical culture and continuing the Kennedy legacy of that, because it was his uncle, JFK Jr., that implemented the national fitness standards for high school students. So very good on RFK. I applaud him. And, the haters are going to continue to do what they do, and that's to make excuses and cope for their lack of ability, their lack of drive, and their lack of discipline.